Hello and welcome to a time special presentation for Thirukkural with the Times, where we explore real-world lessons from the classic Tamil text Thirukkural with motivational speaker, author and diversity champion Bharathi Baskar as she explores the masterpiece. There was a time when farmers were considered the cornerstones of every society. But over time, as cities grew bigger and agricultural land shrunk, the farmer and his tribulations were quietly forgotten. Did you know that Ulagam dedicated an entire chapter to farmers? What were the poet saint's words which turned prophetic 2 millennia later?
As the aroma of Pongal floated through the streets a week ago, Chennai seemed to pass. Nearly 12 lakh people had left the city, leaving behind a strange stillness. Those who remained celebrated in muted tones, boiling Pongal in pressure cookers, a far cry from the age-old tradition of open fires and clay pots. The festival, a thanksgiving to farmers and their noble companions, the bulls, unfolded without the presence of either. Thiruvalluvar, the eternal poet of wisdom, dedicated an entire chapter to the farmer. The opening couplet of this chapter resonates deeply even today. Suzhandrumerp Pinnadhu Ulagam, Adhanaal, Uzhandhum, Uzhave, Thalai. Farming, though hard, is the foremost craft. Men ply at will, but ploughmen lead. Valluvar's words elevate the farmer to the role of humanity's cornerstone. Governments and societies alike rest under the shade of their labor. Yet, Thiruvalluvar's use of the word Uzhandhum, which means amid hardships, is intriguing and strikes a poignant note. Perhaps, even in his time, farming was not an easy path. Agriculture, unlike any other profession, bears the burden of triple uncertainty: the uncertainties of the yield, the price, and the market. Each is at the mercy of forces beyond the control of the farmer. When there was a heated debate on the struggles of agriculture, a scientist remarked with bitter irony that in about 2 decades, we might no longer be discussing the plight of the farmer because agriculture itself could vanish. The thought sends a chill down the spine. Across the country, fertile lands are being devoured by real estate and infrastructure projects. Farmers, finding no solace in their fields, sell their ancestral lands to settle debts. By 2060, our country will face the daunting challenge of feeding about 1.7 billion mouths. But if fields continue to shrink and farmers abandon the plough, what will sustain us? My friend Sendil offers a glimpse into this grim reality. He was a software professional before, and he returned to his roots to take up his father's calling, farming. Yet, his days are fraught with struggles. Climate change has made a mockery of predictability. Seeds fail to germinate, crops wither under the scorching heat, and unseasonal rains destroy the harvest. Even when the skies are kind, labor shortages plague him. On the days we fix for sowing or harvesting, the government announces its 100-day work scheme and our laborers disappear. On Pongal evening, as lights flickered out in our apartment, I stepped onto my balcony to check. The watchman, who was new, a frail chap in his 60s, stood beneath, fumbling with the generator. Beads of sweat lined his face as he juggled calls to the maintenance supervisor while answering impatient shouts from the balconies. Finally, he restored power, but his hunched shoulders bore the weight of exhaustion. Moved by his plight, I hurried to gather some food: rice, sambar, and a small portion of the leftover chakkara pongal found their way onto a plastic plate. When I handed it to him, he ate hungrily, but tears began to swell down his face. Startled, I asked, "Ennanga, ennachu?" "Eating chakkara pongal on Pongal day in a plastic plate feels like a betrayal," he said, his voice trembling. "We used to cook pongal in large pots, sharing it with the entire village on banana leaves. But those days are gone. Our lands were sold to clear the debts after years of failed rains. My wife works as a maid and I got this job. More than anything, I miss the soil beneath my feet." His eyes glimmered with hope as he made a quiet request. "Madam, could you ask the apartment association to let me plant some vegetables in the patch of ground here? Maybe brinjal, tomatoes. We should see a good yield." His words lingered in my mind. Once a farmer, always a farmer. They cannot leave their profession because it's not an occasion for them, but the calling from the skies above. Would the association agree? Unlikely. People prefer ornamental plants, aesthetics, but lifeless, over the earthy beauty of vegetables. The thought brought a bitter smile to my face. Valluvar's Uzhandhum echoed in my heart. As cities grow taller and fields shrink, the farmer's struggle becomes invisible, buried beneath concrete and convenience. At least Pongal should be a day to remember the hands that till the soil, the sweat that waters our grain, and the hearts that beat the profession laden with uncertainty. Beyond our fleeting gratitude, they deserve unwavering respect and support. For without them, humanity itself would crumble and perish. "I will check with the secretary," I told him and returned back.